It's my story. I have too much going on.
Too many buttons.
And they're all flashing and so pretty. I like the pretty buttons. I really do.
Is that one over there supposed to be flashing? I don't know. Sometimes I think I should tell someone.
Thanks, Richmond. What's that flashing? And we've lost it. Okay.
It's the little black box that sits on the top of Big Ben.
That's right.
It's where you get the best reception. Okay, I'm going to hit record. Here we go.
Oh, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the Great Pacific Northwest. Tonight we'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So get your cache in and your trash out. It's time to go CITOing, or is it CITOing, in the Northwest.
Well, it is CITO. And tonight we are glad to have Wits End back with us. We've got a full hosting contingent.
Yeah, he's white, he's nerdy, he's back.
Someone who's making trouble internationally lately. Some say he's ape for Yorkshire pudding and caches in his wellies. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hello, everyone, and yes, it's true. The British are coming. The British are coming. But first, the British Columbians are here. As tonight, we are joined by fellow Earth Cacher and CITO planner, Catapult Jeff.
Well, thank you for having me tonight. And yes, tonight we're going to be talking about CITOs.
Great. Well, hey, it's great to have you on the show. Now, let's, your first time here, can we call you Catapult? Can we call you Jeff? Cat, what's your favorite? What's the two formal, two informal?
Jeff works, CJ works.
Okay.
You can always go with Catapult if you have to.
Okay. But not Trebuchet.
No, that's a total different cacher.
Okay.
Ballista?
No.
Or any other medieval siege weapon?
Well, that's why my significant other's Iron Maiden.
Oh, there you go.
You're saying your significant other is a siege weapon? Anyway.
No, she's a torture device.
Now I want to go punkin' chunkin', so then never mind.
Now, before we get too far into tonight's off-topic, let's talk about what we need to do on-topic. Now, you live listeners, you know there are prizes to be won because I already see in the Q&A they want to know, did we win? Did we already lose? We don't know what's going on. So during tonight's show, send us a question, constructive or otherwise, and we'll fit all those into the topic tonight because we have the Q&A open. So, there you go.
Always keep them guessing.
That's right.
Fantastic. So how are people eligible to win tonight?
Well, we're going to tell you that in just a little bit because we want to keep you right on the edge. Okay, we'll tell you. You know what? I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to let our guest, Catapult Jeff. Catapult Jeff, you figure out how the people are going to win tonight.
Wow, this is quite an honor. Now, if I get to choose the way somebody's going to win something, I'm going to make it really easy. So, for those that are listening live, simply send us an email with the subject line Catapult Jeff said so, and along with your email address to, let's see, what is it? feedback@cachingnw.com.
Well,
so
right there.
So the subject line is Catapult Jeff said so?
Said so.
So.
Wait, what have you done here? Well, he said it, so I'm going to honor it. Send an email with the subject line Catapult Jeff said so, along with your physical mailing address to feedback@cachingnw.com before the show ends tonight. and I'll get that prize out to you next week.
Should people send their SIN numbers and credit card information to us as well?
Well, yeah. Mother's maiden name. That's really all I
that's
need.
guaranteed to win if you send us all of that.
We can get those from Home Depot or Target. It's fine.
Ooh. Oh dear. So that's fantastic.
It's as safe as my naked selfies on my iPhone. It's fine.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So back to the contest.
I do not want to see your phone.
Now that we know what tonight's contest is, what are we eligible to win by co-hosting the show?
You're eligible to get muted if you try to mute me.
Again?
Again. Hey, do you know what else you're eligible to win?
No, tell us.
You're eligible to win up to a $1,000 fine. How, you say? Taking a cell phone picture without a permit, get this, in the U.S. Forest Service parks. This is what they want to do. The U.S. Forest Service wants photographers to pay $1,500 for a permit to shoot images on federal, aka public wilderness areas. The plan would require permits even for recording video, so that's you there, Land Monkey, or taking photos with a camera phone. Your wilderness photo shoots would first have to be approved by the Ministry of Information, excuse me, the Forest Service, and they would have to meet specific criteria, such as being educational in nature, and the photography advertising purposes on federal lands would be banned. This half-baked plan from the Forest Service is open to public comment. And for those who remember the First Amendment exists, that public comment forum is likely to be lit up here in the next few days. So, wow.
Yeah, wow is right. That's just insane. I mean, that's not even Canada. That's in the U.S.
Yes, where we salute with coffee cups.
Yeah. Is that for real?
Unfortunately, yes, it's for real. Wow. So, the other thing that's really tonight is we're doing a giveaway. So, jump in, send an email to feedback@CachingNW. What's the email address? feedback@CachingNW.com with the subject line, Catapult Jeff said so. You can put as many O's in the so as you want.
So, and so, now that we're clear on all the rules of the contest, let's get back to the Caching Podcast news and feedback that we already have. We have an email feedback this week. Aren't you excited just hearing that? Email feedback from 3 Hams and a Rose. Hungry and smells good. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to read this email here and just forget what I have to say.
Please
so the email says, "Hey guys, first-time feedbacker, long-time listener, usually as I'm driving to work. Love the latest episode about logging etiquette. I found myself nodding in agreement with so many things said, and just be careful about nodding too violently while you're driving to work." He says, like Land Monkey, I also have a 2-paragraph format when logging caches in a power trail. The first is unique to that specific cache, and the next describes the overall caching day. You know, the paragraph that most other cachers don't actually want to have to read, but that you want to write as a memento.
Perfect.
To help me with that first paragraph, or usually just a sentence, I carry around 1 or 2 sheets of paper to jot down notes while in the field. However, I find quite often that just rereading the cache's hint that evening is enough to jog my memory about the specific cache, so often I don't even need to keep field notes. Now, FTF logs, he says, are very special. For me, he says, the race to an FTF is always adrenaline-fueled, and I want to let the cache owner into my adventure and experience as I go charging across hither and yon on a mad dash. And for me, it is a mad dash, as there are many seasoned cachers that live in my immediate neighborhood, so I have to be quick. A number of cache owners have since thanked me for detailed FTF logs. I recently read an FTF log that said, TFTC. I contacted the cache owner, whom I know, and in disbelief that someone would do that, and he mentioned it would have been nice if the FTFer could have at least said something like, I stubbed my toe on the way to the cache. Anything, geez. And a few days later, he says he did a 12 cache power trail that belonged to the same cache owner, and he was sure to write outlandish logs describing random things that happened to him on the way to each cache. Hopefully, That made the cache owner a bit happier. Now, on the subject of deleting logs, he said 3 times now I've come across a logbook that clearly has not been signed by the prior finder. As I geocache by iPhone, it's very easy for me to take a photo of the logbook and include that photo in my found it log. And I clearly state that no sign of the prior finder's signature in the logbook without actually naming the offending party. Then he says he'll leave it up to the cache owner to do something about it. Also came across a letterbox hybrid on July 29th of this year, 2014, and saw the last signature in the logbook had been post-dated to August 1st, 2014. Yet that finder had not yet logged online. Perhaps coincidence with the 7 souvenirs of August just around the corner. I made a mention of this on my online log, and within a day my email inbox was filling with messages from both the cache owner and curious other cachers wanting to know who had jumped the gun. Thankfully for all involved, I didn't recognize the username, so I'd forgotten it. This was one time where I had not taken a photo of the logbook, and that was probably for the best. Needless to say, whomever it was, they clearly saw my log and didn't dare log it as found on August 1st. By the way, he says, how do I find out what the topic of your next podcast will be so that I can make comments before the show? Signed, Matt, also known as 3 Hams and a Rose. He's a geocacher since July of 2013 in Burnaby, BC, part of the Vancouver area, and says he occasionally bumps into Land Monkey and is very proud to have just completed his 81 DT difficulty terrain fizzy chart.
Fizzy chart, right on. Okay. Yes, well, thanks, Matt, for the feedback, and congrats on the Fizzy Challenge. We certainly look forward to seeing you at an upcoming event or out on the trails. And, gents, I'd say Matt raises a good point at the tail end there about letting listeners know what our upcoming topics are. I've taken to posting on the Team Land Monkey Facebook page and the Land Monkey GC Twitter feed early in the week what the next topic will be. And I've had some pretty good response to that. Bad Cop, question for you, since you are our webmaster. Would we be able to have a page or some content on our site for the upcoming shows or topics or guests?
We definitely need to do that. So I will make a page on the website. So it's going to be cachingnw.com/upcoming. I'll let you know what's upcoming. You can click on there, and I'll keep that updated with upcoming shows and put it up soon.
Perfect.
I can't figure out how to use up anymore in that sentence.
Thanks, Bad Cop. And we do have quite a lineup. And the other thing to let you know, Matt, is that we're trying to get into the habit at the end of each show to let you know what the next few shows are going to be, since we're actually starting to plan ahead a little better these days.
Exactly. How much fun is that, huh?
It's a lot of fun.
So stay tuned at the end. We're going to talk about that. Breiling shares with us via Facebook. He says, questions for a garbage-type CITO. And before we get too far, there is a question in the chat room of what's the correct pronunciation of CITO.
That's from Dora Moore asking that question. So I think it depends who you ask. If you ask Sunny from Podcacher, it's Katow. I believe I pronounced that properly.
Very nice nuance.
I think most people just say CITO.
I've heard CITO. CITO.
Yeah, I think I've heard CITO, correct, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Better than Psycho.
But not much different.
Yeah.
Depends on who comes.
It might also apply, sure.
That's right. Depends on what you're cleaning up.
Yeah.
So I think if you use any of those terms, people will generally know what you're talking about. But great question from Dora Moore.
So I say CITO, and because, well, I'm on the show, it's the way it is. So questions for a garbage-type CITO.
Okay, then.
Sorry, I'm draconian. Get over it. How do you pick a place to hold a CITO that will have enough for attendees to do? And CJ, we're going right to you.
Okay. Well, I believe that the more hands make less work. So I don't think that any geocacher will complain if an area gets cleaned up quickly and they get a chance to stand around and socialize with one another. And remember, it's always about giving back, and every little bit you do helps. So I don't think that really you have to really stress about having enough for everyone to do.
That's a good point. I mean, if you're done quickly, everybody goes, "Wow, that was easy. Maybe I'll come and do these more often." But if you've got 2 people show up and you've decided to clean up 6 hectares, then they don't want to come back again. So
Exactly.
Now, Brylang goes on to ask, do you work with a local land manager to arrange for garbage bags, gloves, etc., or do you provide them yourself?
Well, the best answer, ask. You ask for everything you can from them, and anything you get is good. You never know what they will provide. Now, in the worst case scenario, you might just get some garbage bags. But on your CITO page, at least bring gloves. So you want everybody to bring their own gloves. That should be your minimum. Always ask for that. And you can't always expect the land management company user personnel to provide something. So just plan ahead to do it yourself and see what happens after that.
And do you ever bring your own hazmat suit?
Depending on your area, you might want to.
Okay.
You know what, though? Not a bit of a rabbit trail, but I think related. That actually brings up a good point about CITOs, particularly in urban and suburban areas.
Yeah.
You need to really make sure that you remind people at the beginning of the event to just watch out for sharps, and if they see them, and by sharps I mean needles, things like that, and if they see them,
syringes.
just leave them. You don't try and clean them up. Sorry.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
That's part of the cache safely creed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can continue to cache often.
Yes.
There you go.
Now, Brylang goes on to ask, he's got questions for an environmental type CITO. How do you go about organizing an invasive species vegetation poll or a native species planting event?
Well, I would contact the local land manager and ask them if you can help out. So that would depend if it's your park, your county, your city. Ask. You never know what your answer will be, and your answer is always no if you don't ask. So give it a shot and ask them.
That's exactly right. That's your answer is no if you don't ask. And I'm amazed at well, people are amazed when you call up and say, "Hey, I'm going to hold an event, and we could have up to 25 people come and clean up this area. Would you be willing to, are you kidding me? I got free labor coming? Yes, I'll provide whatever you need." So I think it's good. Now, Catapult Jeff, could we ask you to give your thoughts on Brylang's questions about CITO planning?
Okay, so
let's start with how do you pick a CITO location?
Okay. So I would first pick a spot that means that's something important to you. So whether it's your local park, a favorite place you like to walk, or maybe it's a trail you like. And so pick that area. And if that's where you want to do, just say that. Now, after that, you're going to have to figure out whose jurisdiction it's in. So you'll have to get permission either from the land management, like the city, parks, the county, the state, maybe provincial parks. And in some cases, there's not even a land management for that area. Like particularly in British Columbia, Crown Land doesn't have a management person you could contact. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere on provincial Crown Land, you can just do it to your heart's content. Now, after that, you have to think, how big do you want it, and what you're going to try to do, how much help you're going to need, what supplies you're going to need.
Mm-hmm.
Always, so Yeah, having that fart moment.
That's all right. I think we've thrown Catapult Jeff for a bit of a loop as well, because we're taking the questions a little bit out of order from
That's
what we'd rehearsed. So we are jumping around a little bit, but
that's okay.
maybe what we can do is, if that's, and I see that Stacy in the live chat had asked the same question, so we're answering that, which is awesome. Maybe we can jump wits end, if you don't mind, to some of the feedback we had from Chitter Chatter.
Yeah, Chitter Chatter did have a question about it. He was kind of answering it, so I kind of let it go. But let me jump back there. It says, Chitter Chatter commented, "I've seen some pretty dirty, messy places that could have enough garbage to keep quite a bunch of people busy for a couple of hours." And I know you talked about not wanting to work too hard at these things. So Chitter Chatter says, "I've thought about putting up some CITO events myself, but wasn't fully sure about how to go planning it with the location city and with geocaching.com, etc. I just looked into it, but I haven't gone further than that." So yeah, there's some logistics there to think about.
So yeah, so Catapult Jeff, then based off of, let's take it from Stacy's question and Chitter Chatter's question there, which sounds like really, where do I start? And you've definitely started going into that. What other considerations go into planning and the actual online creation and subsequent running of a CITO event when people show up? What should our listeners know?
Okay, so you've got your location, you've got permission, you've asked about, hey, what would the land manager provide? So now you've got to create your event. So you have to think about it going, how long, when should it start? So knowing your area and trying to guess how long, will it take time over like a regular meal, like lunchtime? Like if you want to start it at 10 and run it to 2, now you've got to make sure people bring lunch then. Or throw that idea in and say, maybe you're going to supply one. I know of a CITO recently that they provided lunch afterwards. Always remember water, especially if it's warm. Yeah. People like water. If you're not going to supply it, encourage it on your cache page just to remind people, bring water. And then think about what you need to supply. Are you going to supply work gloves, latex gloves, pokey sticks, or even trash bags? Make sure you list what you're going to supply on the CITO cache page that you make and tell anybody what they should bring. And in the end, what happens to all the garbage you've got? Now, is somebody going to come and pick it up? Will a large dumpster be available? You got to figure these things out before you actually do the CITO. So after that, now you've got to make your cache page. Oh, there's one more important thing I forgot about. Bring a first aid kit and maybe get someone that knows how to use it with you to come along, because you don't want to have somebody get hurt and have a first aid kit and have no one that can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. And, you mentioned maybe having lunch during, and I'm thinking the CITOs I've been on, there's no way I want to grab food with my hands.
Yeah.
After what I've touched, and so I would think either do lunch afterwards or before if you're going to provide a meal.
If you're going to, to jump in back up, if you're going to a CITO event, you're going to a CITO event because you've signed up and you're driving there.
It's not a coincidence. Is it? Oh, look, I didn't know that was here.
Look, there's a CITO going on all around me. We always bring hand sanitizer because by the end of that day.
Exactly. Now, you, Catapult Jeff, you mentioned a lot of things here. Water, bags, gloves, sticks.
Pokey sticks.
Pokey sticks, not just sticks, but pokey sticks.
Sticks.
Not to be confused with Pocky sticks, which are delicious.
Yeah. And could be part of the meal.
Yes.
Yes. No, don't confuse. Or hockey sticks. We're not.
Yes.
Though those.
Which aren't quite as delicious.
Could use those and slap cans around. Anyway, now you say you provide these. Do you charge for them, or would it be an idea of saying, hey, guys, I brought all this stuff. If you're if you're able, would you go ahead and put a little money in to help the cost of this CITO event?
I don't think anybody would object if you. Whoa! Somebody's got a stick.
Careful where you put that thing.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very good at all.
It's not monkey flavored.
Monkey chow.
Monkeys for the monkeys.
I think if you're going to provide these things, it's not a bad idea. I mean, to put out a can, say, for donations, I wouldn't necessarily say, if you're going to use my gloves, charge me $2. But you can always ask. You never know what you might get, and if you might actually encourage somebody on your cash page to, hey, if you know of anybody that could donate, to bring them, and that might help out too.
Nice.
Well, and like Bad Cop mentioned, if you get the municipality or owner of the property involved, quite often they are more than happy to pay for a garbage dumpster and bags and some limited supplies for all the free labor they're getting to clean up their area. So
now, Dora Moore, feeding right into this, has asked, the biggest consideration for me is what to do with the garbage we collect. Do we need to pay to take it to the dump? How much of it can be recycled? There are lots of things to think about. So, Catapult Jeff, when you mentioned that, that's one thing I had not even thought about. What do you do with the stuff?
Well, that's why talking to the land manager is the best thing. So at the end, where does it go? Will they have a dumpster? Do you just leave it there? Or will they actually come and pick it up? Does somebody have to wait for it to be picked up? Or depending on where you are, you might have to dispose of it yourself. And then you have to think, well, am I going to throw it in my trunk and drive it and, I don't know, dump it at Walmart or something? I'm not sure.
Dump it on the side of the road and do another CITO event there next week.
There you go.
I know this isn't the Chicago Geocast, but I'm not putting any more junk in my trunk.
But bump.
There you go, Scott. That one was just for you.
Oh boy.
All right. Well,
with that,
I was gonna say you guys. I'm just letting you guys ramble.
Completely stumped us there.
Well, wet coasters. What's the most unusual thing that you found in a CITO? In Edmonton this past summer, they found a fake gun.
Wow. I don't know. I've been on some pretty crazy CITOs where we found fridges and a burnt-out camper. Does that count?
That's certainly unusual.
Wow.
We found we had a CITO. I'm wondering if maybe it wasn't lost by accident. I don't know.
Oh.
It was running.
Was it?
No.
Your refrigerator was running?
Is the refrigerator running?
Then you better go catch it.
They
There you
didn't
go.
catch it. We were at a CITO event. Catapult Chef, I think you missed this one. It was in the spring. And amongst the unusual things we found almost enough parts to build a car.
There you go.
4 wheels. We found tires. We found an engine block. It was crazy, the stuff we found. And interestingly enough, they found an old geocache. This CITO was along the riverside, and it was actually when they pulled the old cache container and looked at the log, the cache owner was there for the event and said, "That's my cache that went missing a year ago. It washed down the river."
I was gonna say, was it upriver somewhere originally?
It had been further upriver and was found. So that was, I think, a pretty awesome story. I think that's one of the best ones I've witnessed.
That's very cool.
That's good.
That is cool. Yeah, I've been to CITOs where they found, multiple sets of tires, and I don't think a refrigerator. What was the big thing we found? I can't recall. It was another large box that it took several people to move. But you get it to a point, you put it near the dumpster, and you go, "Well, I hope the city will come and take this."
Yeah.
So, Catapult Jeff, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. But before we wrap up, we only have a few more minutes to get that email into my inbox before I cut off this contest. So there you go.
That's fair warning.
Fair warning. Shot across the bow. It's been fun.
But yes, Catapult Jeff, thanks for coming out tonight and joining us. It's been great to have you on here and for all of us to learn more about hosting CITO events.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I tend to think you guys might have been scraping the bottom of the barrel, but...
It was
Not
a
at all.
dumpster.
Not at all.
No, not a barrel.
No, we save that for other guests.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
That's me. I'm the furthest south in this group of cachers here.
So that's the bottom of the barrel?
It must be. I don't know. Look at the map. It's at the bottom. I think it.
So we better get somebody from California on soon.
Yeah.
At least in Oregon.
Well, speaking of upcoming episodes, what do we have coming?
We have an upcoming episode. We have an upcoming episode every week. This Thursday night. Next week, we're talking about earth caching in the Northwest. If only we knew somebody that liked to earth cache. We'll think about that.
Out.
Yes. And on October 9th, we want to hear from listeners, from you listeners, on the top Northwest geocaching adventures of summer 2014, because now we're officially in autumn. October 16th, we'll have field reports with any luck, some interviews from the third, I'm familiar with IEEE, this is Triple E. This is the IEEE Earth Caching event in Duncan, British Columbia. And of course, we'll be giving away prizes to our live watchers, listeners.
So cool.
I have a hunch you could tell us more about that IEEE Earth Caching, but you'll just have to tune in and find out.
Tune in. And we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. You know, make sure that you're part of the show, especially for the October 9th episode. Call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, correction, or question any time of the day or night. Of course, you can always email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Visit cachingnw.com for show notes on this or more about any of the other Caching in the Northwest podcasts. Also, your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like this show, please click the PayPal button on the website. This show is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2014 by Chris Umfanella. Folks, have yourself a wonderful evening.
That's right. Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay. I've stopped the recording here, but we're still live on the air, and
I'm good.
We can, let's see.
We can
Dora
chit-chat.
found ceramic tiles to redo hallway floors.
Oh, there you go.
That's interesting. That different than ceramic tiles that one would find for the space shuttle, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are completely different.
So we've got an article link that came to us from Brie Lang.
Yes. What do you think of that?
I'm just taking a quick look at that right now. Big Bear won't budge from Port Coquitlam neighborhood. So Port Coquitlam is, Jeff's laughing, Port Coquitlam is a neighborhood in Greater Vancouver that's sort of right up against the mountains and forest area and does tend to get bears pretty frequently in that area.
Duh, bears.
That's a big bear.
That is a big bear.
Just this week, this is completely off topic, we watched the Disney nature movie Bears.
Okay.
If you have the chance to see it, you need to. It's fantastic. Oh, we lost Wits End.
Oh.
Good night, Wits End.
Hopefully back.
I was shocked that, I thought, oh, it's a Disney movie. It's not animated. It's live action with real bears. And it just, the photography or the videography, it's all done in Alaska, was fantastic. So I strongly suggest you go watch that movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Cool. So yeah, in this article, it's saying the black bear for 2 days has just been continuing to walk around. It's refusing to be scared off by conservation officers.
It's a bear. It's top of the food chain.
I love
have
the
to
fact
be
it
scared
says,
off.
taking extensive naps at the sides of various houses and generally acting unconcerned. That pretty much sounds how I want to spend my day, quite frankly.
Well, there you go.
I could be land bear. Oh, wow.
So,
Wet Coaster commenting that he's not sure how the bear can actually afford a home in that neighborhood. Yeah. Good point.
Oh, well, Brylang says his new name for the podcast is Caching in the Southwest of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're not the first one there, Brylang.
Yeah. No, we just like to hang out with you guys. It's all good. It's not a takeover. Nobody get worried.
Dora Moore says, I'm pretty sure you can't CITO bears out.
You need a pretty strong garbage bag.
Wow.
Yeah, you need some different tools than normal CITO tools.
Definitely need a big pokey stick, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know, the hockey stick, the full hockey gear.
That's right. Was that The Office? Where the Dwight character had his bear defense regalia that was mostly like lacrosse and hockey gear. Maybe I'm confusing different television programs.
Well, I'm not sure I'm reading this right. Dora Moore says, I'm guessing I'm the only one of the listeners here who has actually wrestled a black bear. Am I right?
Probably.
I can guarantee I have never wrestled a black bear. But if you show video of you wrestling a black bear, I will send you an extra prize.
There you go.
However, we may have to fine you $1,000 if it's on federal land.
That's funny. Hey, and Wet Coaster noted that Green Words is here tonight, so shout out to Green Words. Thanks for joining.
Woohoo!
Bryling wants to know, so who won the prize? Everybody who emails in, I'm going to send you something.
Wow.
So if you emailed in before the end of the show, which has already ended, you're going to win a prize.
Ooh. So if you can time travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, just predate your email.
And if you watched, predate your email. That's funny. If you watched Geo Gearheads earlier today, you actually learned how to time travel.
Yes. It didn't get on the show, but I suggested that he take a miniature of the clock tower from Back to the Future and add a travel bug to that.
Nice.
So as that moves around, it's actually time traveling.
Nice. I love it. I was going to say that I'm going to have to email or message Daryl that if he actually goes ahead and does the trackable idea, that I want the destination to be out to, at least at some point, out to BC, because I want to see that trackable.
That would be cool.
Should be Mill Valley, California.
Dora Moore says, that was some years ago. I have a photo. Will that do? No. I think you're going to have to go wrestle this bear out of the neighborhood. At which point I will send you a geocoin. How's that?
We need to be able to know this wasn't doctored in some way.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
That is funny.
Did we ever have it enough to lose it? I think so.
Yeah, maybe. Brian Lang says, I thought the U.S. Forest Service fines were for professional photographers only. And no, that's not the case. It's for anyone, even with a cell phone.
That's ridiculous. There's no way that's going to pass. Like,
I can't see how they can enforce it.
When they say to pass it or enforce it, or, well, to pass it into legislation, is this federal legislation then? Like this would have to go to the House of Representatives and... how it... You're the Americans. Come on.
We're not like the Canadians. We don't know the way our government works.
Technically, you're an American too. We're all North Americans.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
I really don't know. I don't know if it can just, because it's, federal parks and they just turn it on and say that's it, that's what the rules are. I mean, when the fees increase, who does that have to go through? I don't think that goes through Congress.
Right, I see.
So I think, it's a smaller committee than that, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure how that works. So.
Huh. Yeah, weird.
I've been reading up lately now about the national parks and the drone photography that they're having such troubles with.
I just saw that tonight, that you're going to have to get an FAA license to use a drone for photography.
Well, for quite a while now, it's been illegal to use a drone for professional photography. You can't charge for photos. Yeah, that's been a big snafu for a long time. But they're having problems. The national parks have banned drones altogether, and it didn't help that some yahoo dumped a drone into the big geyser up at Yellowstone. I'm not sure how they can get it out and what damage it's going to do environmentally down there. So
besides the fact he lost his drone.
Well, yeah. Well, and then
a
different drone had crashed into Yellowstone Lake. The diver pulled it out. One of the Forest Service divers pulled it out, went back through the footage, and found a picture of the guy. Because we all have that footage of us on the first 3 seconds of a GoPro going, yeah, it's running.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, with a big hand like this. Yeah. So, and yeah, they found the guy and prosecuted him. So.
Well, on that note, there was a story on the news up here recently on Vancouver Island that the police are now starting to crack down on drones because people are using them for not very nice purposes for young. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just, I guess, any technology is going to get abused. So.
Exactly. I mean, but the internet, that's still pure and clean. We're fine with that.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Yeah, we don't need any antivirus or software. No. And, particularly if you have a bash shell, you don't need to worry about.
No, not at all, yeah.
Completely fine. Yeah, no reason to be shell-shocked. Okay, let's talk a little bit about geocaching.
Okay, sure.
Wet Coaster says, last weekend's trip to Lloydminster, Saskatchewan wasn't an official CITO, but one of the guys with me collected about $5 in pop cans. So there you go. That would help cover the cost, right?
There you go. Well, I'll tell you, there's a few local geocachers I know who are pretty good at pulling pop cans and beer bottles and all that kind of recyclables out of the forest, and frequently make their gas money for their geocaching adventures. So
really, wow.
It's just crazy.
That required a trip to Michigan where it was 10 cents for the bottle instead of 5 cents everywhere else.
Yeah, you might consume a little more gas getting there.
Not if you have enough cans. I mean, it's the volume that matters.
That's a lot of cans. Oh dear.
So,
all right. So have we run out of feedback from our illustrious audience?
We have at the moment.
I love the Q&A function. That makes this so much easier.
Doesn't it, though?
Hopefully the audience is enjoying using it as well. They seem to be making good use of it.
I was going to say they seem to enjoy it tonight.
Yeah, nice.
So, but yeah, I like that. I think the Q&A is a quick and easy feedback forum. So, as
awesome.
It's probably intended to be.
All right, so Catapult Jeff, what's your next big geocaching adventure?
I'm being captured by the land monkeys, and I'm going to the island.
Awesome.
So that's the 3IEE event. So WITSAN, that stands for Third International Earth Caching Event.
Okay.
And I'm going to the original Monkey Hotel, and we're staying a night there, and then we're going to be in the Monkey Mobile, and yeah.
We'll need to.
That was my mistake when I rode the Monkey Mobile. Didn't bring enough bananas.
I was in the monkey boat on Sunday. Come on now.
Wow. He's like a bat monkey or something.
Yeah, he is. And the best part about the mega event is we're going to laugh at Mr. Monkey as he's volunteering, and we're going to go caching.
Yep. Well, I feel sorry for everybody who's going to be driving up there and parking, because I'm going to be one of the parking volunteers.
Oh, boy. You're going to pull people within 3 inches, and everybody's going to be stuck in their cars, and they can't get out to go to the event. I can't get out!
The doors won't open. But I got all the cars in this lot. So.
Exactly. And
some of them are on top of the other ones. Yeah. But
we'll just park the low cars in the front, and you can just ride up on them with the big 4-wheel drives later.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It'll be fine. Awesome. So, we're going to call it a wrap then, gents? And
yep.
Fantastic. Well, Catapult Jeff, thank you so much for coming tonight.
You're very welcome. It was fun.
Good. Glad you still think so.
Thanks again.
I'm on lunch.